All right, happy Friday, everybody. Welcome to another Quick Win Collective Mastermind. And so good to be back with you guys. A lot of good stuff going on. Sam, thank you for being here. Great to see you, my friend. Savage
My
in the background
pleasure.
as well. Yeah, man. Listen, I wanted to just, as we got people starting to come in here, let us know where you are coming in from, if you don't mind. Actually, do that in the chat section, if you don't mind. That way we can kind of see where we got some people coming in from as we're letting everybody start piling in here. Here we are, just continuing to run the numbers on up. Over 425 now. Atlanta, Vail, Kansas City, Omaha, Wichita, Dallas, all over. Gulf Shores, Alabama. Love it. Right here close to home. Let's see. San Diego. Got some folks out there. Oh, a lot of California. So this is great. Good seeing everybody. New York, Houston, Florida Keys. This is great, Sam. What's great about this is this truly is a collective, and that's why when we do this, what we want to do is we want to share some of the best ideas, and we have done that by having agents come on. Look, I'd love for you guys, if you've got something that you're doing in your business, and that is interesting, that's different, that's unique, that you feel would bring value to this group, please reach out to me and let me know so that we can share the love, give you some love, get that appreciation out there for you, and just that's the best thing. We truly are all better and stronger together, and so please share those ideas with us as they come in. Hey, listen, right here before we get started, I wanted to mention one thing. All right, still people coming in over 525 now. Just wanted to say thanks to everybody. Obviously, this is a kind of one that we had to cancel a few weeks ago, and so I just wanted to say I don't know. I just went through some family stuff with my mom passing, who was my broker. Let me just say this. My mom was my broker, so I'm what they call an SOB, son of broker, and I would watch her do sales meetings when it would just be me and my brother and five other little agents, five
That's
other
amazing.
agents in this little small ERA franchise that my family owned. And
ERA.
it
Wow.
was. Yeah. And so this had been like the early 90s. And I would watch her prepare for these sales meetings for like six of us, like she was preparing for 5,000. Or like today. I mean, here we are already, pushing up on
Yes.
6 people. And I would watch her do that. And sometimes you got to see it before you can be it. And so I got to, just really see, and probably if anybody's gotten any value from me over the years, I have to tell you it's because of her. And so we went through the health some things with her, and she passed away this last 2 weeks ago. And I just want to say thanks for everybody that reached out. Let me just tell you why I love this company, and I love the way that the leadership supported me to be able to spend time with that group. Love the way that Sam filled in for me. We just wanted everybody to know. I love being around humble and hungry people. And when I mean hungry to get better, hungry to be at a position to serve our clients better. Somebody that is
Amen.
truly searching to be the best version of themselves, because I don't think the meetings we have are by accident. Every single thing that we have and people we come into contact with, there's a reason for that. And so I'm just excited to be here and be back, and just want to say from the bottom of my heart, thank you to everybody for all the support, all the encouragement, and it means a ton. So Sam, especially thank you to you and Savage for just filling in when I couldn't make it, and just appreciate that. So
Well,
Sam,
Jimmy, you,
you
you
want to add?
you're always giving everybody so much praise here, but all this love is because, and now we know it's coming because of your mother. And God bless her, and God bless everything that she has done. But we are all collectively grateful for the commitment that you put forth every day. A lot of them get to see you up front, and they recognize the work ethic that you bring. But what they don't see, and what Savage and I get to be a part of, is the behind the scenes stuff. It's the stuff that you do, that greats do when no one is looking. And I want everybody, through the eyes of Savage and through my eyes, to recognize that this man, for as much work as you see him put in when he's in front of the camera, it is 4 times that much more work behind the scenes. And for him to do it gracefully through this difficult time is absolute leadership. Thank you, my brother. I really appreciate you.
Hey, thank you. I will tell you look, we're going to get some lead generation. I promise y'all. We're not going to do this the whole time. But let me just say this. There is a change in perspective when you go through some things. And look, we've all been through some stuff. So what I want to encourage, and what I've kind of learned over the last few weeks is man, um, I watched the outpouring of everything that my mom, people coming to us, to the family, and telling us things she did throughout her life. I believe that every single one of us has a purpose that we're put here on earth to do. And I will tell you, This job is not a job. This is absolutely a calling. I mean, think about the way we get to impact people's lives. Think about the financial difference it makes for those folks that we help buy their first home. Think about what it helps to get them their first investment property. So I just don't want you to discount what we get to do and the impact that we can have because, the old Maya Angelou, that people aren't going to remember what you say or do. They're going to remember how you made them feel. What is it that you and I can do on a daily basis with those folks that we come into contact with that we can truly make an impact and that they will remember us, not for what we did, but how we made them feel, because that is going to be the difference maker. So, Sam, we got some good stuff. I'm going to tell you all right now, listen, this is one of these. Don't get overwhelmed with this today. So thanks, Sam. And Sam, if you want to just jump back in, if you've got questions or you see questions, look, it's just me today. So we're going to move pretty quick. As y'all know, I can speak at about 150 words a minute and gusting to about 200. So we're going to move pretty fast, and we're going to have some Q&A at the end. But if we see some stuff, Sam, just let me know. If we see some questions or you think I moved a little too fast or something, please. I'm going to share my screen here. I do want to say this. We are going to have a ton of information here. Here's the problem sometimes is that when we get so much information, sometimes it freezes us from taking action. What I would love for you to do, and listen, if you want to see the replay of this, you can always grab the replays over on my YouTube channel. Just go to the live button and you'll be able to find these replays. But you're going to hear 20 specific lead generation. Every single one of these will work. The question is which one or two can you take out that you can add? Because what I've always said is basically when you're thinking about building your business, lead generation, if you don't have a set number of leads coming in consistently to your business is dead. So this is foundational. So if you've got two or three, and if you've only got one lead source, or if you've only got two lead sources, things can change like that. So make sure that you've got some diversity that's happening in your business. And that's what I want to do today is get you some ideas, because here we are. We're basically less than 60 days from the end of the year. And so here we are now just sitting here thinking about the fact that the activities you do this week, because of the way real estate is done, the activities we do this week show up 30, 60, 90 days in our business. What you do today is actually setting the stage for how you will kick off 2026. So let's get into a couple of these things. All right. A couple of things really, there's 4 keys that I see to real estate business. And obviously I mentioned this, it all starts with lead generation. You have to have a specific way that leads are coming into your business on a consistent basis. Second is lead nurturing. You can generate all the leads you want, but if you don't have a way to continue to nurture those folks and move them down the sales funnel, so to speak, then you're really in debt. You're going to be dead in the water. And then obviously you got to convert some leads. So what is it that you're doing that as those leads, as they continue down and you're nurturing them, that you get them to a point where you give them an opportunity to make a decision? And then last but not least, once you got somebody, it's way easier to do repeat business or receive a referral than to go out and find somebody cold to now do business with. So create those clients for life as you go through this process. And that's going to be really the foundation of what we're going to talk about today is starting at the top with lead generation. But I want you to think about this before you go out and you spend money on some type of lead generation. Make sure you have a follow-up program in place to make sure you maximize that. All right, we're going to start with this. 6 to 12-month-old expired listings. A couple of things. We've had David Childers on back earlier this year. One of the things that he talked about, and this is some data that came from RedX at the end of this past year, and we're really now getting into that. I mean, here we are. We're basically 10 months removed from January 1st of this past year. This is what the numbers were last year, okay? There were 149,000 were expected of expired listings in the first week of January last year. Now, let me show you some additional data here. From January 1st to January 7th in 2024, there were 129,000 listings that expired or were canceled or withdrawn. Of those homes, about half of them were relisted, and that was back in this past year. Now, what you have to understand, that means that there's a lot of inventory out there in the last couple of years that really wanted to sell. The timing was not correct. So this is where looking back at some of these expired listings from, if you go in your MLS and you search for MLS expired or canceled listings from 6 to 12 months ago, you're going to see an opportunity right there as well. A couple of things also, RedX gives these to you if you don't want to do it. I just always did the old school where I would literally go in and make my list. I would click on the MLS number to see if they had been relisted or had sold, and then I would check the data in the tax rolls to make sure it hadn't sold also. And I made this list because this was such a rich list of opportunity for me. Now, a couple things here. Most of the ones that relisted have sold their home. Here it is, 58% sold. Of the ones that relisted that last year, only 42% actually didn't sell. But here's a big statistic, and this is one you can show people if you're out there working these expired listings, is that the ones that relisted with the same agent that had it listed before sold at a 51%, 51.7% clip. The ones that relisted with a new agent, 71.2%. That is a 40% increase in the likelihood that someone who had a home that was listed before, if they'll just relist with a new agent. So if you're out there and you're working these and you're closing this, you say, look, I want it. Here's the plan of action I have to get your home sold. But just know this. Just by making a change and getting a fresh perspective, fresh marketing from me instead of the agent you've been with, then you've got a 40% on average, 40% more likelihood that you're going to get your place sold. This is a great statistic to share because it puts you in the position to be able to actually take advantage of some of these opportunities. Now, a couple ways to do this, okay? One other last slide on this. Most of the relisted homes sold at a lower price. Now, you have some homes that they take it off the market, they do the repairs they need to do or the updates they need to do, and they actually come on at a higher price and sell for a higher price. But here's what I want you to look at. 80.6% sold at a lower price than the expired price. This is something else as you're meeting with the people and you're talking about their price that you can utilize to state, hey, look, this is kind of where we are. If we want to be one of those that sold, then 80% of these were sold at a lower price than what they were listed at before. Also 14.5%. So maybe you're talking to them and you're saying, hey, look, we don't want to lower the price. Maybe we need to make some repairs and I can make some adjustments there to what you have in the house, or maybe some updates that we can get even a higher price. But let me say this, the worst thing you can do, because only 4.9% listed at the same price. And I will tell you this. This is one of those where when I'm talking with people, I'm talking about the fact that if you want the same results, keep doing the same things. Well, this is one of those where I'm sitting with them. The worst thing you can do is relist your house at the same price. Either we need to make improvements and move the house up, or we need to get back and lower the price before we bring it back to the marketplace. So this is a way that you can utilize some of this. Now, here's a couple things. Here's a script that I've used over the years that made me a ton of money in my business when I would call some of these 6 to 12-month-old expireds. I would call and say, this is, and you can say your name with your company. I saw where you had your home for sale and it took it and took it off the market last year. I'm curious if you are planning to sell it this year or this coming year. This is a great, and just be quiet. And you'll be amazed at what they will tell you. Well, yeah, we're thinking about this next spring. Well, now you're building a database of people that are getting ready. You can begin to show your value. And now we're setting the table to set up 2026 to be your best year ever for listings as well as just for your overall business. Also, this is look, and we're going to have Jimmy Mackin on here in a couple of weeks. I will tell you, I've been using listing leads a lot. Jimmy and I will have a video coming out on Sunday where we have 5 specific direct mail pieces. And I loved his line. He said, if you're not in their mailbox in November, odds are your sign is not going to be in their yard in the spring. So this is one of those mailers to that expired listing group. Here's what it looks like. I've been talking to a lot of buyers, and if there's one thing they have in common, it's that they love an off-market home. I know your home is no longer on the market, but I think we can both agree that I'd be a terrible realtor. He's using my line there. I'd be a terrible realtor if I didn't ask, is there a price you would still consider selling your home at? No showings, no open houses, no weekends plans derailed. Shoot me a text with your number. If you have and with the number you have in mind for selling your home. No guarantees, but I do have buyers who want to know the opportunity is not entirely off the table. P.S. If you're looking for a discount, they're just looking for the right home. They're not looking for a discount. You'll notice this. They're just looking for the right home. Let's talk if you're open to it with your phone number. This is a great mailer to send to this group, and it even gets. You want the gas on this is follow up with a phone call on this. This is one of those mailers that I know is going to get you opportunity. So first one we talked about was expired listings. And listen, if you don't have these, if you'll just email me, I'll send you these slides, or Sam, if we can, when we send this out, maybe we send the replay with this, we'll have the slides in that as well. Okay.
Absolutely.
And I mean, that way we'll make sure, because I know people are going to have this, wanting this at the end. Buyers is bait. These are little help posts, okay? Basically, this is where we've got a buyer. We just haven't been able to find the right place, okay? So this is a post that we would do on social media. Little help, please. I have a great couple that is looking to move to our area, but we haven't been able to find the perfect home for them yet. They are looking for, give it very specifics, and then just close that out with a simple call to action. This is language on social media. You'll be amazed at how many people will actually put their friends on blast. They will actually put their friends' names in the comment section. That is a cue for you to direct message them and ask them if they're interested in any details and how you could possibly help them. So this is a way to find and uncover some opportunities from the buyers that you have. Represent them at the highest level, but also uncover some opportunities for some listings. And you'll notice this is the second part of that. They're looking for, and then you give them that, and they may be willing to pay a premium for the right place. If you or someone you know is getting ready to sell their home, please DM me, and maybe we can find a win-win for these buyers and someone looking to sell. Again, I will tell you this too. The person who reads this that is actually considering selling, this is something where you're not even asking them if they're interested. They will let you know if they are. It's a great way to subtly ask these questions. Sam, do you want to jump in here?
We got a couple of questions in there. They said, what are some of the suggestions where you would post this, or how would this go out? Are you thinking direct mail? These are specifically on this slide here.
Yeah, this is a social media post, and this is little help, please. I have a great couple. It is literally just basically that. So you're going to hear a little bit about the deal of the week coming up. This is where we're getting very specific on who this buyer is. They're looking for a home that is this size or this many bedrooms, or they need a pool or whatever it is. They're very specific. The more specific you get on this, odds are the less that you're going to have as far as engagement on this post. But let me just say this. This is what you've heard Jimmy Mackin and I talk about this before. This is dog whistle marketing. I mean, this is literally the people that are supposed to hear it are the people that are absolutely going to respond and either DM you or make a comment down below or share it with the people that you want. So this is one of those where don't look for this to be a social media post that gets a huge amount of engagement. So don't feel disappointed if you post this. What you have done is you've planted seeds and you've gotten an opportunity to really add value to the buyers. The buyers are going to love you for doing this because they see you out there hustling, doing extra things for them. But it's a social media post for this one. All right, that's number 2. Keep on moving. This is a buyers is bait mailer. That was the social media post. This is actually the one that we would mail out. Again, this is another one from Listing Leads. And by the way, Jimmy has done this. He was on. He gave us one, for the Quick Win Collective. He gave us a half off the first month. There's a discount code there. If you haven't checked out Listing Leads month to month, you can check that out. There's that discount code if you need it. So this is the letter that Jimmy wrote. That is actually great for this, where you've got a specific buyer to uncover some of these opportunities. I know. You're probably not even thinking about selling your home in 2025, and this could even be as we're heading into 2026. But if you believe there might be a serious buyer out there willing to pay top dollar for a house like yours in the neighborhood like yours, you're absolutely right. My client, and he even puts the names in here, are exclusively looking to buy a home in whatever area or neighborhood you're sending this to within the next whatever timeline it is, 6 months, 3 months, 9 months, whatever it is. And your home stood out as a potential for their needs and there's what they are. They're pre-approved at this amount. They're comfortable with homes that need more minor updates. They're even flexible on the closing date. I promised I would do everything I can to help them find their new home, and that's why I'm reaching out to you. Even if selling your home is not in the immediate plans, but you're open to a conversation, please don't hesitate to reach out. And then down at the bottom, I love, he always does the PSs. PS, if you're not sure of your home's worth because it's been a while since you've had a professional evaluation, I can prepare a customized report for you today. Again, this is where we're taking and we're representing our buyers at the highest level, but it's also specifically targeted to an area that maybe we're wanting to break into. A lot of times the house that you get a call from may not actually be the exact house, but it opens the door to a conversation for a future listing. All right, that's number 3. Y'all, we're only 3 in. We got 17 more here, or 6. Yeah, so let's keep moving. Now, here's the buyers as bait calls, okay? Now, we did the social media. We just did the direct mail. Depends on how everybody does things differently. I built my business with phone calls, so this is the script that I would suggest for that, okay? This is where I've got a client that's looking in a specific neighborhood. And so I'm calling with this. This is your name with your company. I'm calling because I have a client looking to buy a home in your neighborhood. And in reality, a lot of times instead of saying in your neighborhood, I did that as just a general thing. I will say the specific neighborhood. And I'm doing everything I can to see if I can help them find their ideal home. They've said if they find the right home, they may be willing to pay a premium. Have you heard of any of your neighbors who are considering selling? Now, listen, when I say this, a lot of times we're going to have that opportunity where somebody's going to say, oh, well, I've heard about this person, or I've heard about that person, or they may say, no, I haven't heard anything. If it doesn't come up about their house, this is what I've always called kind of the magic question. And this is the one that you saw actually Jimmy do in the email a little bit earlier in that email. Then what I say is listen, I'd be the worst realtor in the world if I didn't at least ask if there's a price where you guys might consider selling your house. Then just be quiet. This is the actual script that I've used throughout my career that has done a tremendous amount of created a tremendous amount of opportunity for listings for me as well. Again, we're out there actually working for our buyers to find the right place, but we're also giving an opportunity to build some relationships so that even if it isn't today, after we talk with someone and we build some rapport, now we've got them in our database and we start utilizing the opportunities to stay in touch and earn their business in the future. All right, we'll keep moving. Open houses. Let me just say this about open houses. I don't know of anything you can do better in your business than hosting an open house. It gives you the opportunity to be out in a specific neighborhood. It gives you the ability to have people walk in. Look, people don't walk in offices, real estate offices. I mean, I think we've got 2 offices that still have floor duty. And if those of you that are new, what floor duty is there was somebody assigned in the office because people would walk into our office to meet with an agent or to get information. Well, what they're doing when they're walking in these open houses is it's an opportunity because you're going to see opportunities happen. I was talking to an agent 2 days ago, Trey here, and he was telling me that he's generated just in the last couple of weeks 3 specific buyers just sitting in open houses a couple hours a day, 3 times a week, and these are $1 million+ buyers, $1 million+ buyers. Couple things with open houses. This is what we call a marketing moment. So it's not just the open house. It's a great opportunity to reach out to those folks that are actually in that neighborhood. So you could actually let them know about the open house coming. You could set up specifically. What I like to do on open houses is if we know that we're going to have one on Saturday, and let's say that it's going to be from 11 to 1, I like to either send a mailer, make phone calls, or even door knock around that neighborhood to let people know that it's coming. It's a great opportunity because then I'm not asking them for anything. I said, hey, I'm just, I'll knock on the door and it'll be like, hey, I'm Jimmy Burgess. I just listed this house 4 doors down. We're actually going to have our first open house there here this weekend. I just want to let you know in case you see some traffic, and also wanted to let you know it's going to be open to the general public from 11 to 1. However, I'm going to be there from 10 to 11 because there's been some other neighbors that mentioned they might want to see the house before the general public. If you'd like to see this thing, just come by between 10 and 11. I'm not going to have the signs up yet, but it'll be open. I'll be there, and I'd love to just get you kind of where you don't have all the hustle and bustle of all the other people. Now, the reason I did that was 2 reasons. This gave me the opportunity to know that when people showed up between 10 and 11, those were people in the neighborhood, and one of 2 things. They were either looking for a friend or family member that wanted to move into the neighborhood, or they were comparing this to their house because they were considering selling in the near future. Different conversation with that group, and understanding who they are, that gave me the opportunity to really be able to have a little bit different conversation, build some of the neighbors that are there. A couple of things that conversation led to. I would also say, listen, we're expecting a lot of activity here. I'd love to keep in touch, let you know kind of how this progresses, because obviously the sale of this is going to affect the value of your home. If you don't mind, just sign in over there. That way I will have your email address, and then I'm going to put a little star on there so that I'll know. And if you know which house yours is, let me know, and I'll make sure that I get you a comparison so that, you kind of get an idea of how this might compare to yours. This is a great way to start building those relationships. Again, the magic question here. If they don't bring it up, it's a great thing to say by the end of it is to say, hey, listen, I'm expecting a ton of activity here at this house. We're expecting to sell this house pretty quickly. And I know that there's probably going to be some people that would love to be in this neighborhood that don't get a chance to buy this home, but would be interested in other homes. I'd be the worst realtor in the world if I didn't at least ask if there's a price where you guys might consider selling your house. Again, use the open house as an opportunity to generate future opportunities as well. All right, we're going to keep moving. Now we're going to talk about creating some searchable social content. We talked about this over the last couple of months, and actually the last couple of years, about the TikTok effect. What's happened now, and you're going to hear this actually from the broke agents in a few weeks as well, where we are actually finding that it doesn't matter what the size of the group that is connected to you, your follower count. What is more important now is the type of content that's specific, because the algorithm or the AI is actually doing the hard work. And if somebody is looking for houses specifically in LA or in a specific neighborhood, watercolor, and they've looked at other posts, the AI picks up on that. And if you post about homes in that neighborhood or in that city, it will make sure that it puts your stuff right in front of them. So how do we create some of this social content? Couple keys to success on social media right now. Don't forget it's social. It's not just about you posting. I have someone that helps me offshore that kind of helps me with this, with some of my social media. And what she told me, which was so helpful, is she said, Jimmy, it's social media. You're really good at media, but you got to get better at the social side of this. And so she encouraged me to make sure that I was that I was commenting on things. She helped me figure out how to set up a favorites list of some people that I wanted to keep in contact with or have a priority on their content in front of me. And what I found is that if you will get out there and get active on social media, you'll be amazed at how many people begin to notice your content and will come back to there. So make sure you get social. Also, model after others. If you see some posts or some things that are out there that others are doing that you can model, just model those things after them and you'll have that same success they're having. Also, follow Adam Massari. He is the head of Instagram. I just shot a video yesterday. He just came out with 5 specific things to increase engagement going into 2026. I shot that video yesterday. It'll be out in a couple of weeks. But follow him. He is literally going to tell you what to do to get engagement in your post on social media, especially on Instagram. And he is out there just literally, if you follow him, it's like playing poker with the cards up. Last but not least, just think shares. From that standpoint, they have told us that the most invaluable thing that they see is if people are sharing your content with other people, then that is a signal to them that this is something that is interactive and is getting exactly what Instagram wants to happen, which is interaction between peoples. So think of it from a standpoint, not just of what would I like to produce that will get in front of my ideal client, but what would I produce that my ideal client would share with someone else or someone would share with them? That's the way to really have some success. All right. Now, next up, deal of the week email post. Okay. This is one of those strategic things that we're doing. I just got off, before I got on here, our staff meeting with the folks here at Beach Properties of Florida. We started doing this as a company. And what we started doing is we were taking and finding one of the listings in our company that we felt was the best opportunity for buyers in our local market. And we began sending that out to the email list on a weekly basis. Y'all, this past week, we had 4 people on a over $4 million property reply back, I'd like more details on this place. That was an opportunity for that agent to actually have 4 conversations with potential buyers on a listing that had been sitting for 60 days and had no activity. This is a plan of action that will absolutely work. Now, this is an example from Holly Darcy, great agent here with us in Destin, Florida. This is what it looks like. Destin, Florida, deal of the week. And I'm going to show you the nuts and bolts of this. But y'all, if you're not doing a deal of the week, you are selling yourself short. And in reality, we're in the real estate sales business. Let's give people an opportunity to raise their hand and say, yes, I'm interested in a specific property. You'll notice what she did here. I knew I had to show you this house, the moment I saw it. And then she goes in and she brackets this specifically. We want to have this where it's easy to read, scannable. That's why we utilize this. You'll see she gives some details and then she gives a price. Then she says, curious to see photos? Just reply to this email or reach out to me personally at her phone number. In service, Holly. Now, here's the thing about this. We want to make it as easy as possible. All they got to do is hit reply and say more details. She'll get everything to them. They've raised their hand. This is a great way to create some opportunities and turn maybe your database that's maybe a little cold into that's horrible, into sold. So this is a way to really recreate an opportunity with some people that maybe you've lost contact with in your database. So the deal of the week email is a great one. Also, here's the keys to making that successful. No photos. Don't overthink this. Just simply use the text, and this was something that a friend of mine started doing this, Sharon, when Sharon started doing this, he did this with hundreds of thousands of emails. And what it did is it actually got him the capability to see the data. And these are some of those best practices. No photos. No address. We want to have the information there, but we want them to be able to reach out to us for details. And you want a bullet point to make it easy to read, and then also make it easy for them to get the email. Reply back to me, and I'll send you all the details. That's the deal of the week. Great. It's probably one of the best strategies I know of right now that is out there. Now, door knocking around marketable moments. I'm not going to spend a lot of time here. I talked about that with the open houses. Holding an open house is a marketable moment that gives you a reason to knock on the people's door. Another one might be that you just sold a place in a neighborhood. Hey, we're just letting the neighbors know we had a ton of interest in the house. We sold it in 2 weeks, whatever it is. And we've got some folks that are still interested. So I'm just passing this around and curious if you saw the details of this sale. That's a marketable moment, a great reason to knock on doors. Find a reason, not just to just introduce yourself, but you're actually bringing them something that is of value to them. And a recent sale that improves the value or that affects the value of their house is absolutely one of those marketable moments. All right, searchable YouTube content. Again, to me, YouTube is the long-term play that will absolutely pay dividends forever. I'm a perfect example of this. Literally, I wouldn't be on here with you guys had I not started sharing videos on YouTube. And what we're seeing is that agents now that are utilizing YouTube and being consistent on this and doing specific things give you the capability to really build it where you're attracting business instead of chasing it. So here's a couple of people to follow after, okay? Brad McCallum, friend of mine, great agent out of Ontario, out of Calgary. He does a tremendous job. One of the things that I like to do is I like to go on when I'm looking at someone's tab. And what I'll do is I'll pull this up and you'll see I've got the videos tab right here on, right below his picture. And then I clicked on the popular tab here. The reason I like to click on the popular tab is because you'll notice I've got this thing that tells me this these little red numbers here, and you'll see like 40x, 30x, whatever it is. It will actually tell me the videos that are and how much they're outperforming the average video. And if I can tell you this, notice specific things when you check this out. Like he has on here, inside a $3 million luxury designer, inside a $3 million luxury home, Tour A, beautiful home in Calgary's, all of these. You'll start seeing this stuff and you start seeing patterns. So utilize the same text that he's utilizing. Notice every single one of these thumbnails is a sunset shot and it has big bold numbers at the top for the listing ones that he does. If you're going to do a listing one and you're going to post on YouTube, utilize those things. Moving to Calgary, look at this. Moving to Calgary in 2025, everything you must know before deciding. This one alone, he told me, generated over $500,000 worth. This one video, $500,000 worth of GCI for his team in 2024. Now, here's the crazy thing is, once you do something like this, he's got it here where it says 2025. You may check his site out and it may say 2026 pretty soon because all he did was he changed that number when he moved from 2024 to 2025 because that thing is still generating opportunities. If you did this, wherever you're from, moving to San Antonio in 2025, everything you must know before deciding, I promise you that video will kill on YouTube for you and your local area. All right, this is Noah Escobar also. Noah really built his business. He's 25 years old, my son-in-law now, and he built an amazing business where it literally YouTube is generating all the business for him. On average, right now, he's got 11 plus hours a day of people watching his videos on YouTube. So that is passive prospecting that is really giving him an opportunity to see some of this. A couple things he did is he did 3 specific types of videos. He did an infrastructure video, and this is the way that he laid this out, okay? This is kind of the way that he did this. He has a hook intro. He talks about the project, and then he has an outro. Now, you can see all of this, and look, we're going to have these slides for you. You can take a quick picture if you want to, but this is kind of an outline of how he does each of those videos. And then also he does community videos. So what he does is with this, if I can go back, basically on the infrastructure, is when dirt begins to move and people are wondering about a new development, he'll go in there and he'll talk about what's coming. What it does is 2 things. It gives the ability to answer questions, but it also gives them the ability to be first in search on YouTube and specifically on Google as well for that neighborhood. So it gives them the ability to get ahead of the game. Then once it starts developing, he talks about the community. He talks about what the amenities are for that. So he starts, and this is the flow. Hook intro. Amenities. He talks about what does the community have as far as amenities? What's the location? What is it near? Then he talks about the value proposition, who this community will be great for. And then he gives some house overviews of the floor plans that are being built, and then a simple outro. Also, the third one he does is listing tours. Now, you saw where Brad McCallum that I had earlier, Brad built his entire business on just doing listing tours, where he's doing creative walkthroughs of listings, highlighting the listings. and it is an amazing thing to do. Make sure if you're going to have a YouTube channel for real estate that you absolutely have some listing tour videos on there. This could be your listings. This could be if you're starting out, you don't have any listings, ask an agent if you can give them a shout out, but that you can actually do the video content for them. One of the things that Noah did when he first started is he would say, hey, listen, I'd love to do this, and I'll give you a separate video of this that's non-branded that you can utilize. I'm going to pay for it, and I'll also give you a shout out on the video I did. People loved having that opportunity for him to actually get out there and help them market their homes, and it gave him some exposure as well. So these are what those look like: hook intro, house overview, value proposition, amenities, and then an outro. So this is a great way to build some opportunities there as well. Next up is unsolicited video CMAs. Listen, y'all, this is a strategy that really worked for me. And everything that I'm talking about today, I have done. There's not a single one of these that I have not done or that I've not helped agents do. This is one that this was one of the last things I did right before I shifted into more of a leadership role when I moved away from the team that I was running then. This is what it looked like. Okay, I decided that I was going to do in the fourth quarter of that year that I was going to do one video every single day that I worked between that fourth quarter. Now, I had some days off, I had some weekends, I had some holidays, but I did 72 days that fourth quarter. I did 72 of these videos. And now what this is just me. They didn't ask for it. I shared my screen and I went over an overview of what their value is. And I'm going to show you exactly what that looks like in just a second. I did that during that time, and through the next May, directly from this strategy, I listed over $11 million worth of listings from doing these once a day, 30-minute activity, unsolicited video CMAs. When you want to set yourself up for the spring, if you would take over the next 90 days and do one of these every single morning, maybe this is a past buyer you have, maybe this is someone you know in your farm that's mentioned they might want to sell in the next few years, maybe it's a friend or family member, maybe this, whoever it is, if you'll do this, I'll promise you're going to set yourself up for success. This ended up being, when I calculated out after all of this, it was a $3,600 an hour activity. Now, you may be saying, but Jimmy, your average sales price down there at the beach is double mine. This was back in 2018, y'all. So it probably wasn't much different. But even if my average sales price was half of yours, which would mean that it would be the national average, if that was in that 400 to 425 range, 450 range, this would be an $1,800 an hour activity. So the biggest question that I had was why didn't I do more of this? So I'm going to show you exactly what this looks like, okay? The other thing is that I'm going to show you a specific way to do this because I got out of sales, did not follow up with any of those people after sending that, but I did a specific strategy I'm going to tell you about in just a second. And once the pandemic hit, I ended up receiving an additional $5 million worth of listings from an activity I did 18 months previously. This is the specific strategy that I use. So I'm going to show you how to do that as well, okay? So here's the keys to success. You want to have some tabs pulled up. First thing you want to have is you want to prep before you start. The way that I prepped is that I would literally just pull up the MLS. So if it was in a neighborhood, I would pull up the MLS and I would have the active pending sold homes in that neighborhood. Then I would break that down with another tab that would have just the 2 or 3 that were most like the subject home that I was doing this on. And then I also had Google Earth. Now, the reason I had Google Earth is when I started recording my screen, and you can do this with Zoom Party of One, I did BombBomb. I would actually go in there and I would actually go in and record my screen. I'd start with Google Earth. As soon as the camera went 3, 2, 1 and it started, I would click the address in Google Earth. It comes in from outer space on top of their home. Now, what this did is, I'm going to tell you right now, and this is why I liked using BombBomb, is because it had a GIF or GIF, however you want to say it, that would start in the email and would just start that motion from outer space on top of their home. I'm going to tell you right now, you send me something that zooms on top of my house, I'm curious. I'm probably going to click that tab. And we were running over 85% open rate on these specific emails. Then I had that tab I mentioned where I had it pulled up with all the comps on my MLS. You could do a full CMA. I was pretty basic with this thing, and you'll see it in just a second. And then I did an estimated seller net sheet because everybody wants to know what the bottom line is. So this is what it looked like. Here's an exhibit A. If you don't think you can do video, look at this costume. Look at this Halloween looking outfit I had on with this orange shirt, shiny head. You can do video. This is Google Earth. This is an example of this. This is what the first tab looked like as they came in. The second tab that I had was the comps. You can just see here, this is basic stuff. I didn't have to memorize it because literally, like I was sitting at the kitchen table with him, I would just walk through and talk about how many had sold, how many are currently for sale, what's pending. And then I would give a little bit of an overview of the ones that are most like theirs. And then I would come back and I would actually have that number where I would go in and I would give them an estimated seller net. Now look, do all your disclosures, do all those things, but typically I would wrap up with that. Now, a couple things that I did in this that really made this successful, okay? Consistency is the key. I did one a day. If you would do this, look, I believe when you're doing marketing, you should do things for a reason and for a season. If you try to do something every single day forever, you're going to get bogged down in it. Find a 30-day, a 60-day, a 90-day period to do this, and you will absolutely see some success. Here's the thing I did in the subject line every single time is I had 123 Carefree Lane, for instance. That's the address. Valuation update. And the reason I did that is that my intro in this would simply be something like this. Hey, it's Jimmy. It's been a little while since I gave you an update on your place. So what I want to do is I'm just recording my screen. I'm going to go through and I'm going to show you exactly what your value is. Hey, listen, also, just so you know, if you're curious 6 months, a year from now about where your value was in November of 2025, all you got to do is go back into your email and either search your address or valuation update, and you'll be able to find this where you can see exactly where your value was during this time. And then I would roll right into that. And then I gave a range of value, because what I would say typically at the end of this is I say, hey, listen, I'm going to provide you with a range of value here because I haven't been in your house in a while. So I don't know if there's some deferred maintenance, or maybe you've done some improvements that I'm not aware of. Please let me know and I can make those adjustments. Let me just say this. I'm giving you a range of value. Take me 5 minutes to walk through your house. I can tell you exactly what it'll sell for. And then what I would do is then I would roll into that. It was very subtle. I was not asking them if they wanted to list their home. I was just giving value. And by not asking for the listing, I ended up generating even more listings. So this is what I would do then at the end is I would circle back again. I'd say, hey, remember, also, if you're curious about where your value was in the future, just come back and just go to your search bar in your email and put in your address or valuation update, and you can find this. Well, here's what happened is BombBomb lets you know when that happens. 18 months after doing this, I mentioned to you that I got 5 million additional in listings from this process. All of a sudden, BombBomb starts popping up that people are looking at these valuations. So guess what? I would just do a simple call to those folks, and it generated the opportunity 18 months later. This is a way to do something that's memorable, that most people aren't doing, sets you apart, and shows that who you are, and gives you the opportunity not just for business today, but business in the future as well. All right. So if you're ever curious, that was with the line that I used as we were talking about that with having them come back at a later date. All right, let's keep moving. We're only halfway there. We're at 10:40, so we're going to run through these real quick. And listen, I'm going to hang around, guys. Anybody's got questions also, but lead sources with no upfront costs. I know we're all in this position right now. The last thing you want to do is stop marketing. But maybe you don't want to buy leads, but you're wondering, are there some places out there where you can receive leads that just you'll pay a referral fee? And this is a great way if you're a newer agent to generate some of these. So here's a few options on some of these sites. And listen, every single one of them has different criteria. Some of them want experienced agents. Some of them are willing to work with new agents. Some of them want somebody that's an expert in a specific area. But here's a few that are out there, okay? Redfin Partner Agent Program. Redfin, in some cases, has leads that are coming in and they don't have enough of their agents, and they will actually refer those out. You can become a part of this. Just check out that. You just Google it and you'll find that program. All the details there. Also, Rocket Homes has a partner agent program as well. Now, listen, obviously, you're going to do a lot more reporting on this. They're going to already be pre-approved. These are some great leads when you get those from Rocket as well. Also, Veterans United Realty. This is specific for VA buyers. This is also basically founded by someone that was doing VA loans. These are people that are moving in, and if you service a area around a military base, this is a great way to get some leads coming in from that perspective as well. And then Agent Pronto is another one. That's more of on the listing side, and that's one that AI is really paying attention to now. So it's one that if you're thinking about one of these, I would really focus in on getting you a great description and bio on Agent Pronto as well. All right, keep on moving. Buy lunch, not leads. Listen, most of you have the relationships you already need. The biggest thing you have to do is just think about what it is that you can do to rekindle those relationships or deepen those relationships. What I would encourage you to do, and this is something that a friend of mine, Heidi Harris, did years ago, and she decided that instead of buying leads, she was just going to start buying lunch. So she started inviting people to go for coffee, for lunch. And she ended up saying, I wanted to do 3 of these a week. And she would calendar these out. And all she did is just reach out and say, hey, it's been a little while. Love to catch up and hear how you and the family are doing. Would you be open for lunch in the next couple of weeks? She set these. She went went on these. Here's the thing. She never even brought up real estate. They will bring it up and they would just say, hey, how's your business? It's going great. It gave her the opportunity to share what was going on. And then here's what happens is, all of those times that would happen, she always had the opportunity to say, hey, listen, I really love working with you guys. If you know of anybody that's thinking about buying or selling, I just want to say thanks in advance for thinking of me. She literally saw her business go up 80% the following year after initiating this. If you will just focus in on the people that you've already got relationships with, I promise you, you're going to get some big results this next year. Also, client appreciation activities. A couple things here, okay? Here's some ideas. When you show appreciation, here's what happens is it starts the law of reciprocity. And the biggest thing that people can, what the law of reciprocity says is that when you do something kind for someone, they want to in turn do something kind for you. Well, guess what? The most kind thing people can do for real estate agents, send them a referral. So we're going to start this process. Here's a couple of ideas. Handwritten notes. Listen, this is still the tried and true best thing you can do to show people how much you appreciate them. And most people aren't doing it anymore, so it still stands out. Pop by gifts. What is it that you can do for a little simple? Hey, we've got something. I'll tell you this. Marie Boatsman, great agent up in Washington. She told me that she actually around Christmas time, she will go and she takes by some Scotch tape, scissors, and some wrapping paper right at Christmas time, drops it off to people and says, hey, look, we can all use a little extra wrapping paper here at Christmas time. It's a great reason for her just to give them something that they're going to remember. Doesn't cost her much, but boy, just the fact that she was thinking about them and she has a conversation with them, it generates opportunities as well. Also, just have some dinner parties. Man, one of the best things I did is I started when I would have a closing is somebody that was new to town, is I would invite them to come to dinner with some other folks that had moved to town. And I would actually have this little dinner party at my house. It got where I could build relationships. It gave me an inner circle of people that I was not just building relationships with for the business, but great relationships for me, for my spouse, for all of the people that I was involved with. And this is a great way to show your appreciation and give them the opportunity to meet some new people. And then anniversary gifts. Make sure that you're out there and that you're sharing some of those special days. You could use something along the lines of send out cards where you can set it up where you can send them a handwritten card as well as a gift for a 5-year period. It's a great way to really systemize that, okay? And then host some first-time buyer seminars. This is one of those where literally right now as we're seeing this, affordability is the biggest question mark we have across the country. I mean, we're seeing it on you can't turn anything on and not hear about affordability. Well, we are seeing interest rates go down. We've seen that. We are seeing opportunities where prices in some markets are coming down. We're seeing where new homes have incentive programs out there for closing costs. Now is a great time to host a new first-time buyer seminar. Involve a lender, involve a credit repair person, and this is a great way for you to generate some leads coming into 2026. Also, geographical farm. Look, if you're not known as the expert in a specific neighborhood, you're not an expert. We're in the real estate business, and we need someone to view us as the neighborhood expert somewhere because it generates a steady flow of listings. Now, there's a lot to this. If you want to look on my YouTube channel, we've got a great video on how to do a geographical farm, how to choose the farm, do all these things. For time's sake now, I just want to remind you, because I know you know this, find a place in 2026 that you're going to dominate, and it'll absolutely help your business. Here's a couple keys to this, okay? You want to find a place that doesn't have a dominant agent in it. You also want to do the numbers. Does it make sense? If I just get one listing or I get 2 listings and I'm spending $2 per month per house that I'm going to be farming, because that's what I like to figure out for direct mail, hosting an event in the neighborhood, follow up with some things, all the details that I'm going to do. If I can just have one transaction and it be profitable, I'm absolutely going to that neighborhood, especially if it doesn't have a dominant dominant agent in that area. When I say a dominant agent, that's somebody that has over 10% of the listings in that neighborhood, okay? Also, consistency is key. Monthly mailers, phone calls, hosting events in the neighborhood, giving value to those neighbors. Those are the kind of things that will really help that as well. And then build on your wins. If you have a successful and you take a listing, blast it out. Direct mail, letting the neighbors know, hosting open houses, door knocking to let them know about those things. Those are the way that we compound the results with geographical farming. All right, just sold postcards reimagined. Now, this is actually one that Colby Anderson did here. This is, instead of just sending the just sold cards, and the reason why the just sold postcards are still so active is they still work. But the key is can we do this a little bit different? And this is one that actually, Noah Escobar done this before. Colby's built on this a little bit here. Did you hear about your neighbor? 11 Dandelion Drive. Now, I want to tell you, this folds up, and that's the first thing they see when they open the envelope that this comes in. People are nosy. They're going to look at this. And then he does a bracketed, here's the story. Your neighborhood called us. Your neighbor called us. Strategy first, showing second. Tailored marketing, overcoming obstacles. Watch the full story where he's got a QR code to the video where he talks about this. This is a great way to compound the opportunity on a recent sale or any sale that you've had. And this is a great way to do this a little bit differently. Also, just sold reimagined videos. That was the one I showed you that Colby did. This is actually the video, and I'm gonna actually I need to get my sound where I can make sure that it is going to play right here. So let me set this up real quick where I can do this. Actually, it's not going to play the sound, but let me just tell you what this is. So a couple things here. This is a video where he starts the video with a call to action. Wondering what it takes to sell a home at a record price in this market environment? Here's the story. Again, we talk about dog whistle marketing. This is identifying the specific people that we're trying to talk to. Those folks that are thinking about selling or wanting to sell or that are getting ready to have a house that is expiring, they're absolutely going to watch that video. Then he breaks down, like we did in the letter, all the things that he did in this process. And then at the end, what he does is he has a call to action that simply says, share this video with someone you know that would love to sell a house in 2026. It's a great way to have shares, which we talked about is the thing that really drives virality on social media. But this is a different way of making the process the hero instead of you the hero. And that humbleness will absolutely get you more opportunities. All right. All right, ZMA letter. Again, this is the last one I want to share that Jimmy Mackin over at Listing Leads has shared that has done so well. This is what it looks like, okay? He actually takes a screenshot of the ZMA of the Zestimate. And how many of us know the Zestimate is 99% of the time wrong? And so what he's doing is he's capitalizing on that. He's taking and putting this as a part of the letter that goes out. You can see here he just prints the address. This takes a little time, but you will absolutely get huge results. Then he puts a little yellow sticky note on that. Would you consider selling your home for this? Call or text. And then this is what it says in here. I rarely send letters like this, but when I saw the Zillow thinks your home is worth less than $750,000, I had to reach out. A lot of people rely on these online estimates to find out their home's value, but they don't realize how inaccurate that can be. I'd be a terrible realtor. Again, he's still using that language. If I didn't ask, if you found out that your home was worth more than your Zestimate, would you consider selling? If the answer is yes, text strategy to his number, and I'll let you and I'll let you know what you could really get in today's market. This is a great, different type of approach to neighborhood mailers that will absolutely get you. Again, if you want to check out some of these things, all of this stuff, I just printed this off of Listing Leads last night. And remember, he's got that discount code for us. 19, optimize your Google Business profile. You're going to get searched. Make sure you're utilizing this. So here's the keys to Google Business profile, okay? Reviews are number one. We want to see that somebody has a specific number of reviews that other people have worked with them. There was a statistic that I believe we got about a year or so ago that came in from Testimonial Tree. And what they talked about is that over 70, I think it was 72%, over 70% of people now trust online reviews as much as a personal recommendation. So when you have the more online reviews, the more people trust you. So make sure you're getting your reviews up as many as you can. 100 photos seems to be the magic number for us. Once we get over that, then we start seeing some real results on our Google Business profile. Post content the same way you do it on your social media, post it over on your Google Business, and just be consistent with your activity. Don't just load everything up this week. Spread it out where you're doing something every week so that Google sees that you're consistent and that you're active in that neighborhood and in that area, and they'll absolutely move you up the rankings there as well. All right, last but not least, buy leads. Now, let me just say this. This is the last thing I would suggest you do. Now, I say that because most people don't have a prepared way to follow up with all of the leads that come in. First, before you ever buy any leads, have a follow-up system that is on locked. Speed to lead when they come in. Reach out to them as quick as you can. Have something of value that you can give for them. So maybe when you talk to them, you convert them by simply saying, hey, listen, I'd love to keep in touch with you because there's a lot of shadow inventory or off-market properties that are out there. I have a group of agents that I work with where we talk about properties before they come on the market or some things that maybe people don't want listed. If you'd like for me to share those with you as we go forward, I'd love to keep in touch. Great way to give them something a little bit different. But if you're going to purchase leads, and listen, it works. The quality of the leads typically is directly proportional to the quality of the follow-up. Have your system on lock, and you can absolutely turn buying in leads into an opportunity for you. So I don't want to say don't ever do it, but I do want to say is if you're going to do it, be prepared for that as well. And then just don't get overwhelmed. Look, we just literally in about 40 minutes just shotgunned 20 ideas at you. Every single one of those work. The key is they all work if you work them. So don't get overwhelmed. Pick one or two. Do that, and I promise you're going to get some good results. So now here's the thing. Sam, I'm going to close with this because I think obviously the key is to any success is to have a framework. So I have utilized this and have a number of agents that I've coached over the years that we use what we call a 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 framework for success. Now, these are 5 activities that you would do on a daily basis. And you can make these for whatever you want. I'm just going to give you an example of this. The key is to have, the way that we've been doing this is 5 specific real estate related conversations every single day. Buyers, sellers, whoever. Next, 4 conversations with your sphere of influence or client conversations that are past clients, okay? We want to have 4 of those because those lead to additional business, also referral opportunities. 3 open houses per week is the magic number that I've seen. The agents that do 3 open houses a week, every single week, consistently over a 90-day period. I'll promise you 90 days from now, if you hold 3 open houses every week, you're going to see results in your business. Also, have 2 coffee or lunches per week with somebody. This is a great way for you to build some trust with some people. Gives you an opportunity really to have the opportunity really to deepen those relationships. And then do 1 video unsolicited CMA. You saw that strategy every single day you work. If you'll use this framework, I will promise you, you will set yourself up for your best year ever. So, Sam, that's all I've got with this. Let me just stop sharing and let's see if we got some questions. Anything that you want to add to this? Obviously, I want to take a breath.
Man, good. Drink some water there, my man. What a marathon, huh? Give it up for Jimmy. Talk about some stamina that it takes to be able to do that. Outstanding job. Hey, big takeaway. Zestimates is wrong. Oh my God, that is amazing. All right. So for some people there's a number of people here that are new to a particular area, Jimmy. They don't know anybody. They don't have any contacts right now. All their friends and family are back wherever they came from. What are some things that those people can do right now here today to try to get some more influence out there?
All right, we'll give you 3 things, okay? First one is host as many open houses as you can. And let me tell you, if you're new, how to set that up where you get an opportunity. Find an agent that is predominantly a listing agent. And what you want to do is you want to make their job easy, okay? So first off, you want to be prepared. You want to know that neighborhood where they have those listings, like the back of your hand. You want to know all the details so that you represent them and that seller well. The second thing is let them know that at the end of each of these open houses, you're going to send them an email that has specific details of every single person that came through with feedback, okay? The feedback, and it could be an email that they can easily copy and paste and send to their seller, okay? So think of it this way. It would be like today at the open house, we had 7 couples come through the house. The first couple was from wherever they're from or whatever details you got. They actually needed a 4th bedroom, so the house wouldn't do this. The feedback they gave is they loved the kitchen and the open living room. However, they needed the 4th bedroom. Number 2, had an agent that came through, was previewing for someone, whatever it is, put it where it's easy, where that listing agent can copy and paste this. Then you send the email right immediately after this, because you know as well as I do, when you host an open house, what's the first thing that happens? It could be if that ends at 1 o'clock, 1:02, that listing agent is going to get a call from that. How'd it go? So immediately, and even possibly 5 minutes before it ends, if you've got a little lull there, send this to the listing agent, so that they can be proactive in this, that they can either copy and text it or copy and email them the details of this. When you do that and you make them look good for their people, you will get more opportunities to set open houses for them. Second thing that I would do is do unsolicited video CMAs. If you don't know anybody in a new area, I had an agent that was a brand new agent to our area, said, I'd love to do the unsolicited video CMAs, but I don't know anybody. And what should I do? I said, you don't know anybody in your neighborhood? You haven't met anybody? He said, yeah, I got this guy at the end. He's at the cul-de-sac. We sit in lawn chairs and drink beer in the evenings. I said, I tell you what, go to him and just say, hey, I'm new to the area, and I'm in real estate. I've got this strategy that I really want to try. I feel like after a couple of beers, you're probably going to give me some good feedback on whether this is good or not. Do you mind if I do this and email this to you, and then you give me an idea of what it looks like? He did this. This guy said, sure. He emails this over an unsolicited, basically an unsolicited video CMA to him on an email, and the guy comes back to him and says, hey, actually, I want to tell you that I'm getting ready to sell my house, and I didn't know because you're a new agent whether you could do this, but the way you presented that to me. I think I'd like for you to tell me a little bit more about what you would do marketing my house. He ended up, that was his first listing and his first sale. So look, if you don't know anybody, you know somebody. You know what I mean? So don't be afraid to do those things with as you're in that area. So I mentioned, obviously, hosting the open houses. I mentioned that. I'm going to tell you, get active on social media also. Share your journey. Hey, these are 5 things, and ChatGPT will give you everything. These are 5 things that I wish I would have known before I moved to this area. These are 5, things that that most people that have been here their whole life don't know about your area. Whatever it is, start highlighting local businesses. Use them as a collaborator, invite them to collaborate with you. That will share and get your information out there. And then last but not least, man, I'm going to tell you, I built my business this way. Pick up the phone. Talk to people. Take and get the opportunity when you see a sale to tell people about sales that have happened around their house, and just share that information freely, and you're going to find the opportunities that you're there. I quoted this. So I was on a podcast a little while ago, Sam, and I want to speak specifically to the agents that maybe are in a rut right now or that are newer agents. And I was on this podcast with Alex Ramosi, just amazing teacher, And Alex said this, and when he said it, I said, I got to write this down. It was one of the best things I'd ever heard. He said, I want to do so much activity, and I want to do it so consistently over a period of time that it would be unreasonable that I didn't find success. And so let me just say this, whatever it is, out of these 20 that you decide, do it so much and so consistently that it would be unreasonable for you not to expect to succeed, and you'll absolutely find that success.
That's amazing. And just to add to that, here's one other thing that you can do on a consistent basis is do a search on Instagram or even on Facebook for your local area. You're going to find people who are posting about things in your local area. Hit the heart button on there, make a little comment there, and then go a little deeper in the DM. Right? If somebody's posting about a restaurant or they're posting about something in the community, comment it. Let them know you're new to the community. What else do they recommend? And then you start making connections that way, right?
Absolutely.
Really great stuff.
If everybody's here, I am literally printing this right now. And I'm going to put it in there. I'll have the PDF of these slides for everybody because I see some of the people putting in there. So I'm going to do that right now. So any of you that are on here, it's coming. Just bear with me for just a second, and we'll have that posted up here.
And we'll email this out to everyone, because if you're on the Zoom side here, you registered and we have your email, right? So you use that email to register. We're going to email all the Zoom participants these slides immediately after this session. So you're going to get them. I appreciate that for everyone here. Hey, Jimmy, give us an idea of some of the screen recording tools again that you can use, because there's a lot out there, but what are some of your favorites?
Yeah, BombBomb has been my favorite. Look, you pay for it. I think they've got a 14-day trial. I think they do. They used to, at least. But the reason I liked it is that I could embed it in my email. And it had that gift that started, and it just increased my open rates. I loved BombBomb. Zoom Party of One, literally, like I just did. I just screened. If it had just been me on here, I could have screen recorded this and then record it, and then it would have had this as a video that I could have shared. So those are the easiest one. Loom's out there. There's some others, that are out there. Those are the ones that are the most popular that I've seen, but absolutely just, look, here's the thing is the best one for you is the one that you utilize. So, hey, Sam, I'm going to email this to you right now also, just because I couldn't load that up for whatever reason.
Yeah, that's all right. We will get it to you. Yeah, we'll absolutely get it to you. And also, I'm going to put in the chat right now, you can subscribe to Jimmy's newsletter as well. And follow Jimmy on Instagram. You can also follow me on Instagram as well. But more importantly, you can find that recording on Jimmy's YouTube page. And I just put that in the chat now. But I promise you, you will get the slides. We will email that to you immediately. Hey, Jimmy, on deals of the week, you're
Yeah.
not necessarily meaning the cheapest
No.
property in the a deal. So it could be something that is really expensive, but this is a once in an opportunity, right? So tell us more about, outside the box thinking for deals of the
Yep.
week.
Yeah. So look, you're all looking, hopefully, you're looking at the hot sheet every morning. I don't know about you, but I could, when I was actively selling, I would look and scan it and I'd be like, ooh, man, that seems like a really good price in that neighborhood. I bet that thing's going to sell quick. And that would be something that I would do. Here's the language also that we didn't have in the email that we utilized, or you could use on social media. Is I have scanned the MLS, and this doesn't have to be your listings. You know what I mean? This is something where this is the best deal I found. I mean, this is just, you got to think. You're sending this to people that have opted in most cases, obviously, hopefully, to receive emails from you. And so the email is like, the area deal of the week. And then at the top of it may be like, I have scanned the MLS. And this is the best value that I have found for any home wherever, in Orange County this week. I had to share this with you. Bullet points. If you'd like full details with photos and descriptions, please just reply back and I'll send it to you. Okay. Now, another great one for this, if any of y'all work with investors, extremely good with investors. This is the best investment property that I found this week. Here's some overview, residential, good neighborhood, 7.8 cap rate, whatever, you know what I mean? Just give us a few details. If you'd like more details on this investment, send this to me. There was an agent that I knew that just did commercial and did it that way. Killed it with this thing. Okay. And I will tell you, I would suggest as you're doing this, vary the price points every week until you find your sweet spot, because your database, you may think, oh, well, I just work with first time home buyers, and you may end up running something out there that's twice the average. And all of a sudden you get all these people that are responding. You may be amazed. Don't say no for your database before they say no to you. So make sure that you're varying the different types of properties that you're going through. Does that make sense, Sam?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And big shout out to one of our agents in Del Mar here in California. When she's out on broker caravan, broker preview, and there's a lot of agents around there, she goes and finds a small little corner, turns her camera around and whispers into a video and says, hey, I'm standing in a property right now that's probably going to sell pretty quickly. It's pretty phenomenal. It hasn't quite hit the market yet. I'm at an event where all these brokers are looking at it and people are calling their clients left and right. I'm just trying to let you know, I'd like to, if you're interested in this property, let me know. I'll give you the details. It's fantastic stuff, right?
Yeah, that's a
good stuff.
Great. Yeah.
All right.
We're going to stick on for more questions, but if anybody needs to go, obviously, completely understand. Thank you for your time. Hope you got some value out of this. And then also, I'm going to just stay on. I mean, it looks like we got a good amount of questions, so I'll hang on as long as you're good, Sam, for the next 15 minutes.
Absolutely. And once again, we will absolutely send the slides out to the email that you registered here. I'm going to do my best to scrape the emails in the chat as well at the end today. So we'll get you it somehow, some way. Don't worry about that. I also put in the chat a link to Jimmy's newsletter. That's an Inner Circle newsletter. If you're not already subscribed to it, you got to jump on it, because not only do you get a reminder about events like this every Friday, but you also get additional content that is fantastic. This is kind of the behind the scenes work that this gentleman is doing for all of us every day. That big lift that a lot of people don't get to see. So join that Inner Circle. I just put it in the chat. Click on it. That's great. All right. Let's see here. What else do I have here? What
any questions anybody's got? Because I know some of these, the scroll has been pretty big on that.
Yeah, I love it.
Questions, drop them back in if you will, and then we'll absolutely see if we can answer any of those. I know I moved fast on that. I mean, there was a lot there in a short period
and this
of time,
is one of those sessions, Jimmy, where you want to go back and watch the recording and pause and figure that out. So it's nice to have the slides, but sometimes the slides don't give the entire content. context. So I'd encourage people, once you have the slides, go back and watch the recording and pause and maybe take some action immediately, right? Take, as Jimmy said, one thing that you can do there, go out and take some action. What was the saying that you said? Have a purpose and do it for a season, or what was that saying that you had?
I just said, it's reasons and seasons. You know what
Reasons
I mean?
and seasons. There you go.
Yeah. Have a reason you're doing the activity, and then just do it for a season. It's like if you miss either one of those, you're probably going to struggle. So because if you don't already have a season in mind, like a 30-day, 60-day, 90-day period that you're going to do a specific activity, odds are the lack of consistency is going to lead to failure. And if you don't have a specific reason of how it's giving value and how it brings value to your business, again, it's another recipe for disaster.
Yeah. So Michelle specifically is asking, maybe she's questioning in her mind, should I just send these unsolicited, or should I really tell them that I'm doing this first? What's your thought on that?
Hey, do whatever's comfortable to you. The surprise that they received this without asking for it is the whole thing that I felt like had the most juice. Because I don't know about you, but look, I love getting something on I'm just going to use this example with my wife. I love for my wife to give me a gift on my birthday. But, if I'm out of town and I come home and she's got something sit on the counter that's a special gift for me, that's unexpected, it's a little extra special. And so I like to think of it this way. Sure, you can call them. You do what's best for you. For me, I think the little bit of surprise and being like, I can't believe he did this without even, that's the kind of thing we're trying to do to really deepen these relationships. So sure, you can do whatever you want. I saw some people asking, like, can I send this to my whole sphere? Absolutely. What I did, what I did is I made a list of all of the people that owned homes that I knew. And I mean, this just took me days. I kept a little notepad in my car as I was driving. I'd pull up to a stoplight and I'd think of somebody. I'd write their name down and I would rip that off and I'd put it, and I kept them all there. Then what I did is before I started, I had this list and I put numbers on the people that I felt like there was the low hanging fruit. I want to start with the low hanging fruit. I want to get these quick win, you know what I mean, kind of things. And so what I did is I started with the lowest hanging fruit. And then by the time you get to, 60 or 70 people that it's not necessarily that they're going to sell right now. You're doing that to keep the repetitiveness. And I will tell you, the agents that have done this best is they continue to do this, and they set a 6-month time period where they would do an update for those that responded to this. So even if somebody just came back and said, this was amazing, thanks for sending this, but they didn't mention they were thinking about selling, they actually put in their calendar for 6 months or a year out to give them another update. And then what they did is they just went in and said, hey, it's been 6 months since I gave you the last one. Want to show you what the difference is. They've already got it recorded so they can see what they told them value was there. So they can reference back and say, hey, 6 months ago, I told you your value was here. Here's what the comps are showing now. So it's a great way to utilize this to continue to build and compound the growth in the future too.
Yeah. And somebody's asking about the deal of the week. How do you promote that? And do you need to get the listing agent's permission? Well, here's what I would say. I'd say that if you're going to make it public, like on social, you absolutely should get the listing agent's permission. I'd hate for them to see it and then be a little frustrated about that. But if you're sending it to your own database, to your own sphere of clients, look, you're just updating them on what's happening in the market. And I think you're okay there as well. Jimmy, what say you?
Yeah, absolutely. And the email, a lot of times just saying this, hey, this isn't even my listing, but I found this to be the best value. When you send the email is a great way to do it. On social, absolutely. You want to always, give honor where honor's due. And so what a lot of times we'll do is we'll actually even tag the person in it. So for instance, if this was Sam's listing and I was posting this, I would say the best deal that I have found this week in Orange County is a listing that my friend at Sam has listed right now. It's not even my listing, but it's the best thing that I see out there right now. And so here's the details. And then if you'd like more details, just DM me. And that'll be a great way for you to do that as well.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And in terms of times for open house, we all know the traditional Saturday, kind of 1 to 4, 12 to 3. But are you seeing anything else like during the week, a sunset hour type of circumstances? What are you seeing there, Jimmy?
Yeah, so this is it's seasonal. And so what I have found is that, there's this saying in fishing that you need to match the hatch in order to catch things. So what I would say is that, so in other words, like if you're on a river and there's a certain type of fly that is hatching or whatever,
Oh,
you want to
got it.
be in line with what's around you. Okay. I hope that
Okay.
makes sense.
Yeah, it
So
does.
think of it this way. In our area right now, it's a little cooler in the mornings. So the majority of the people that are walking around neighborhoods, because we got a lot of walk around neighborhoods, the majority of the people that are walking are typically walking in the afternoons. So an afternoon does better now. In the summertime, when it's hot in the afternoons, the morning time, if we're doing a walkable neighborhood, think of it this way. If the majority of the people are at work and you're doing in a neighborhood where, it's not a retiree neighborhood or a resort neighborhood, odds are if you hold an open house during the week in the middle of the day, you're not going to have much success. So when are the people actually moving around? So wherever it is that they're actively moving around or that they have the most free time, that's the time that you want to kind of match those things. That's why weekends have always been good. So during the week, it's obviously typically it's an afternoon or evening as people are coming home from work or as they're doing something along those lines. I hope that helps.
Absolutely. Someone's asking, I talked about the whisper video that goes out for this particular agent in her database, in her CRM. She tags every person that ever comes in any of her open houses. And so the whisper video goes directly to anybody who's ever come into an open house because they have that mental, I guess, connectivity to her. She's at a broker open house. Does that make sense, Jimmy? And she is talking to people who are presumably continuing to go to open houses, right? And so there's that's a really good strategy in my opinion.
Hey, also, it's a great Instagram story, with that type of, hey, I'm out here and listen, if you want details, just reply back to this and I'll send them over to you. So it gives the people a reason to just reply back, please send details or whatever. And that's a great way for people to utilize social media to have them raise their hand.
Yeah. And so many of you have, obviously passions outside of real estate. And there's so much connectivity in those additional passions. For example, pickleball, right? I love pickleball. I'm a pickleball fanatic. I'm on the court 5-7 days a week. And when I'm out, when I get a chance to go out in caravan, if I was actively selling real estate, everybody I play pickleball with, because I'm always texting back and forth with them, right? Are we playing today? Right? If I'm out on broker preview and I see one of these houses, because a lot of these houses are starting to have pickleball courts on them, and I'm going to shoot a quick video, I may jump in that video and say, hey guys, check this out. If one of you bought this house, we could be playing here, right? Like there's so many ways to connect with people based on whatever your passion is, right? Boat slips, right where you're at, Jimmy. Like great stuff.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely. Hey, Georgia Properties. I noticed somebody mentioned from Georgia Properties. I can't the lights. I can't quite see everything real easy, but mentioned that they do them as a group. I would encourage you. Look, if you're gonna do some open
that's
house,
amazing. That's amazing.
It really does. They do those huge
autumn
open
nights.
houses.
They call it the summer nights, autumn nights on Wednesdays from 5 to 8. And what it sounds like is that everyone or number of open houses at the same time, especially if it's in relatively the same subdivision and people can even walk around. I mean, that's amazing, Jimmy. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
It's
a
good
great
stuff.
way to do that. Absolutely.
Well, I think we've reached the end of our time together. So
absolutely. Listen, I want to close with this. I just want to say the key to all of this is you can have all the best ideas in the world. But it's the execution that actually gets the results. So I just want to encourage you, take one of these, take two of these and just put them into action. And I promise you're going to start seeing some better results. And I cannot wait to see what this future holds. And listen, if you get some results from this, do Sam, do Savage, do me the honor of letting us know that you got some value and that you actually executed on one of these things and giving us the results. That's what really the juice that we enjoy having. So make sure you share that stuff back. Again, thank you, Savage. Thank you also to Sam for helping out today. And we will see you guys next Friday. Take care, everybody.
Take care. Bye now.